Live at the Manchester Apollo. Was it December or November, boys?
Exact question.
Yeah. You told me you got the red microphone. You're a liar. Okay. Hang on. Now, Booth.
Colourblind.
No, dear. Right. I tell you what, we're gonna festive our way through some great Manchester tunes, aren't we, tonight, chaps? So, while we get organised in the studio and the correct microphones assembled, a few gems lined up. Manchester or not, you shall see. Our special guest, James, in the studio. You heard James from the Manchester Apollo live in concert, part of Piccadilly Key 103's festive weekend, and we shall continue to celebrate with that excellent Denton band, Television. Just when you thought there was another 9 minutes, a wonderful Television from a long time ago, in fact, and the 12-inch version of... No, the 7-inch version, in fact, no. 9.5 minutes, 10 minutes, in fact, of the wonderful Mark E. Moon. Mark E. Moon, it's pretty, pretty cryptic with the Manchester Weekend, isn't it? Mark E. Moon. Move forward, chaps. Let's get this rocking. My special guests in the studio tonight are, of course, Tim and Jim from James. Between 6 and 7, you heard James live in concert from the Manchester Apollo. Very fine it was indeed. Before we start a festive Manchester weekend here, we'll talk to you for a minute, chaps. First of all, that concert, particularly punchy concert, I think. I wasn't fortunate enough to get tickets myself, but we won't go into that, chaps. But really, the new lineup and everything's really the finest lineup I've seen in James.
Yeah. Rocking out, man. seven people, you know, trumpet, violin, things like that. It's much bigger than it's been before. It was a good gig. I want to complain though about the swearing.
Yeah.
That's disgraceful. I mean, I don't know why you put that on. In fact, you know, I mean, I thought you beat them out instead of putting in extra swear words. I'm sure I didn't say any of those things.
I think David Dunn actually edited some of his own choice language into that because, you know, it's more his vocabulary than yours, Mr. Booth, I think.
Oh, yes.
What are you up to at the moment? I don't suppose you want to talk about sensitive issues like record contracts. Lots of rumours, but we won't go into that. But people are going to be wondering where you're going to surface with something new. I mean, you've got an album supposedly done, haven't you? But there's nothing been sorted out.
Yeah, very nearly finished. Very nearly finished with a single out on March the 19th, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Album out, hopefully, end of April, around about the 30th. And then a tour... When does the tour start?
Ooh, April, mid-April,
yeah.
End of April. We're just finishing...
Tim, just hang on 1 second, mate. We'll go back into this in a moment, because there's too many buttons on here, and I've got to get some of them working. I can hear you, but it doesn't look too much activity up here. But what they'll do is there'll be a tape of James's Whisper available from reception from Monday. What we'll do is we'll play a record which you're going to briefly introduce very near the microphone so we can get some decent stuff done here. And tell us, Patti Smith, Hey Joe, very collectible, you were led me to believe before,
yeah.
But I've got it anyway.
I think this is the first time it's ever been played on radio in this country.
Probably the last.
It's a cover version of that other famous James Hendricks from Wilmslow. It's his Hey Joe, and Patti Smith has kind of mixed in her poem about Paddy Hearst, the American millionaireess's daughter who got kidnapped by the Sudanese Liberation Army front and then ended up robbing banks with them. And it's a great song, never been played before on radio, I doubt.
From 1970?
Before Horses, 76.
Like black and white sleeve, nevertheless. It looks a horse's type sleeve.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Honey, the way you play guitar makes me feel so masochistic.
More of that wonderful band later on. The Pixies live from the Cabaret Metro, a recording for WXRT Radio in Chicago or Illinois. A US promo only. Took a lot of getting that, actually. And James, the great fans of the Pixies. Oh, no, was it the Pixies? Yes, they were. Where were the Pixies, in fact, from, Tim?
They're a hippie band from Hume, I think.
That's right, isn't it?
Too many mushrooms.
They used to do a lot of the PSV Club, didn't they, in the early days?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, this is on the principle that all the best music comes from Manchester, of course.
Absolutely. We did notice, actually, in the James in concert we heard from the Apollo, a little rant in the middle about sick of hearing all these Manchester bands and things. Quite appropriate, really, for a festive weekend on Piccadilly Key 103. Nicely done, but David Dunn inserted that as well.
Yeah, we're included in that as well, mind you.
Yeah, we were taking the mickey out of ourselves.
You did have to get everyone off the stage, though, truth be known, didn't you?
Yeah, about 150, I think.
Yeah.
They're showing it actually on Snub, I think, on March the 19th. He looks it up. Yeah, March the 19th.
Oh, really?
Some of that concert.
Oh, excellent.
Should be wild.
From the Apollo?
Yeah, they filmed it.
Brilliant. Well, before this slight interruption, we did in fact hear Patti Smith and Hey Joe before that.
She's from Salford.
She's from Salford, yes. I think she's actually moved now, doesn't she? She's separated from Mark.
Yeah,
and
that's
she's,
right, yeah.
she's moved away, so...
Gorton, is it Gorton?
I think so, yeah. You were telling us some record news before. Now people can perhaps hear us properly. Hopefully. I can hear myself anyway. Tell us a bit more about the impending record deal.
Yeah.
Hint.
Record deal. Well, we recorded nearly enough material for 2 LPs. We went in and started recording. We ended up with too much material. We're about to sign a record deal probably next week. I can't say who yet, but probably next week.
But the people at KTEL wouldn't want to, want it to be known anyway, would they really?
No. For large amounts of money.
Great.
And
Plenty of notes,
Excellent,
too
excellent.
many notes.
But I mean, I thought we negotiated a reasonable price for you to come in the programme tonight. I thought it was a fair sort of,
Yeah, that Pixies LP, you're giving it to me.
That's got
Great,
100
nice
quid in London, Tim, but I could be persuaded to part with mine for about between 80 and 90,
It's tight, isn't it?
Cassette for 50. So really, but basically, within the next week or two, everything will be announced in the music papers, etc.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we just got on with James. I mean, Martine, our manager, she's just like plotted out what we're going to do, and we recorded the LP. So whenever majors came or were interested in signing us, they had an LP that they had to accept fully, and a kind of a time schedule, and we just kept to that.
As far as the promotion plan goes, really, I mean, it would be a good idea to repair the radio, really, to just be able to gauge just how much radio play you're getting, as the management might not know.
Yeah.
Slight in
Private
joke.
joke, that one.
She can't hear us anyway. Get on with the hoovering.
Yeah, you have to plug the management anymore, Tim, because she's not listening.
Whole new meaning to the word plug, really.
Oh.
So, presumably, when would you expect to actually have something out on, whatever record label you're signed to?
A single at beginning of April.
Single, March the 19th.
Yeah, called How Was It For You, March the 19th. That quick, is it?
Yeah,
I'll never get it out in that time. Well, it's called How Was It For You, and then an LP, April something, I don't know.
End of April?
End of
30th,
April.
I think, no later than
Called
that.
Gold Mother.
So another tour, then?
Yeah, another tour.
You put the stuff out on the interim period through Rough Trade, didn't you? And then I suppose like the tour came to complement that. But really, you've spent a lot of time just keeping going, haven't you? Really, just sort of carefully watching where your career is going to go. As all around, have been creating a bit of a fuss. You're not really never have been part of the Manchester scene, though, have you? Let's face it.
No, not in that way. No. But in a way, I mean, the thing that characterises most Manchester bands is their kind of bloody-mindedness and independence. I mean, in a way you could say the Fall aren't. I mean, and the Smiths, I mean, they're all just very, in a way, they're very strong characters on their own. You couldn't really group them in with any scene. And the Stone Roses and the Mondays in the same way. I don't think they'd say there was a Manchester scene.
No, but it's really funny because it's not like they're overnight sensations. I mean, they've all been around for donkey's years, haven't they?
Yeah.
In fact, rumour has it, some of them are nearly as old as you, Tim.
Some of them.
Don't believe that.
We better take a break, and then after that we'll come back with some of... in fact, De La Soul we were going to play as well. They were a group that actually used to be down the Poly Disco quite a lot and everything, didn't they, in the early days?
From Wilmslow, I think.
Yes.
No, they're not.
Commonly known this, actually, but yeah.
They are from Wilmslow.
Yeah, they're from Wilmslow.
So there's quite a sort of surge of groups from South Manchester as well, with Paddy Smith being from Wilmslow as well.
Yeah, well, she was from Salford, I thought.
In fact, I once helped her park a car at the leisure centre there,
Yeah.
During
or something. In her lesbian feminist poet days.
Piccadilly, P103 FM Music.
Think you know Manchester? Do you know where all the best gigs are? The best nightclub scene? All that's going down in cabaret, cinema, theatre, art, sport, and the hottest TV and radio? No? Well, you haven't been reading City Life then, have you? Remember, the best things in life are in City Life, and it's out now. So why aren't you?
Piccadilly, P103 FM Music.
That's a magic number.
Confused me, that one. Did you hear a bit of scratch and hiss?
Yeah, scratching, wasn't it?
I thought a bit of scratching on the CD.
Listen, I'm scratching.
Nevertheless, I can hear you now, that's great. Programme's
Can you?
nearly over, but nevertheless. My special guests tonight, Tim and Jim from James, and that famous Wilmslow band De La Soul. Do you like the whole album? Or is it just individual tracks? I mean, I know it wasn't the one. I know it wasn't the one you wanted to hear, but we didn't have it. It was only a 20-minute advert. I thought I did pretty well under the circumstances.
Yeah, I really like it.
Great, this is amazing. I don't know what to say now. It's just the fact that I can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
So, excuse me,
You're
Jack.
right.
Yeah.
You don't look very well, actually.
The,
It's a bit peaky.
Yeah, it does look a bit peaky.
You're working you too hard.
Absolutely. The music that we're hearing tonight, chaps, quite wide and varied to be serious for a moment, isn't it? I mean, stuff right across the board, as they say.
Right, but all from Manchester.
And more to come.
Oh,
But that's a little secret we've got for the end of the show.
I haven't got it with me, actually.
Oh, Tim.
Sorry about that.
Right, the contract's null and void. What should we talk about? I mean, should we talk about the next Manchester band, Deconstruction? It's like Manchester Connection, though, isn't it, really, with the legendary Mike
the new
Pickle?
Manchester bands we haven't heard yet.
You want to hear some?
In Spiral Mondays?
That's
something,
right.
is it?
Yeah, they're not new. Shh. South Side. And
So, actually, we played a lot of North Side on the
Parkside.
programme, but the Parkside. Well, this is familiar. Oh, one track running into another. Recorded live at the Cabaret Metro, WXRT in Chicago, Illinois. The very excellent Jilted John. First and foremost, chaps, no, seriously, it's the Pixies, isn't it? The Pixies live. Bit of a treat, isn't it? I mean, bit of a stonker of a live album. Probably the best album we've heard this year. Although, of course, James haven't got an album this year. Our special guests in the studio, Tim and Jim for James. We're going to hover around talking a little bit about the Manchester scene and Manchester bands. But quite honestly, Mr. Booth, you admit not to have heard a great deal as yet.
no.
So you want me to play some stuff? We're currently scuddying the archives here. Well, not really archives, but the tape box for Northside. And somewhere written on Bido in the corner of my shed over there says Northside. Oh, you're back. Oh, we've got it. We'll cue it up. But up until then, what do you want to hear?
Nick Cave? Honey Nick Cave?
Nick Cave,
Get
yeah.
around?
Yeah, see if I can...
It's amateurs, these local radios, aren't they? Lightweights. Wasting their time, aren't you? We're going to throw paint over you if you don't.
Wasting our
Storm out.
time, lads. Amateurs! Mercy Seat?
Mercy.
Mercy Seat. And then a bit of Northside if we can find it. Nice special guest in the studio, James, Tim and Jim from James Mercy Seat, and Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds from Tender Prey. And in fact, chaps, even though it is tenuous connections, I mean, Barry Adamson, Bad Seed, Magazine, Manchester, blah, blah, and also, while that was on, I was thinking the Pixies toured America with Happy Mondays, so you've got all sort of Manchester links anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, it's geographical connection, isn't it? That's what counts.
Geographical
Nick
connections.
Cave once went out with a girl whose mother apparently had a cousin who lived in Manchester.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
And he did play Manchester.
That's right. And Black Francis in the Pixies. I used to go to school with a guy called Francis.
Well,
So there's connections everywhere, really, if you just want to look. I mean, Manchester has always been where it's at.
Yeah, yeah.
We all know that, don't we, chaps?
Mobil service stations are giving away vintage motorsport models. Just collect the tokens when you buy Mobil petrol. One token with every £6 spent. Ask at your local Mobil service station for details.
Now, Yugoslavia, wonderful, my dear, unspoilt beaches, first-class hotels, charming fishing villages, and such clear blue water, lovely for the kids.
The closest she's got to blue water is that print she's had.
You what?
She got all that from the Ina Tours brochure. For your free Ina Tours brochure on Yugoslavia with holidays from £148, phone 01602 7668 or visit your travel agent. Flights weekly from Manchester.
Oh, there's all kinds of sports. You know, my Sydney loves his ang surfing, and of course
Ina Tours 01602 7668.
Piccadilly, Key 103, FM Music.